everything okay, Doctor?
Almost, Doctor. We're just on our way to see the very famous YouTube user, Daniel Bostock, but we need to do something first.
According to this, we need to turn off the transponders now.
Let's turn off the transponders.
Oh.
Everything is okay, Doctor.
Thank you. Oh, see you in a minute. What goes with a big bad black bastard?
If anyone's cold, we can stick the fire on.
Please don't use swear words.
Okay then.
It means that only over 18.
I like a high blend.
Yeah. What are we going on, a half or a zero or what?
One.
One.
Well, a two.
Well, there can be only one.
Now, I don't know if you realise why we've turned up at this time, on this day.
And you were late, by the way.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah. Well, we did take a bit of diversion. I forgot these two. I'd go
Well, I had
back
to
for
drop
them.
lad off the demands.
Do you have a bit of crepe as well? Do you like crepe on your to protect your towel? You just go with that.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
It's lovely. Yeah, I've been very interested because listening to you talk, you can't go on a bit, but you seem to be getting things very, very right at the moment.
Correct.
Oh, very correct.
Sort of, yeah.
So, I mean, I picked up when I was watching this thing for Seven Trent. I'll start with the two. With Seven Trent, and you've written something, what is it, 2010?
2010, yeah. My
And-
first letter.
So, when's the last time you've heard from them? Or since?
About a month ago, probably 6 weeks ago.
So, what they said about your...
Well, what happened were when I sent the original letter, I'd never heard any. I didn't get a letter from them. A bloke rung me who I'd addressed the letter to, and he rung me. He says, "Is that Daniel Bostock?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I've received your letter." I says, "Oh yeah." I says, "What's the verdict?" He says, "No." And that it. I says, okay, thank you. And that it. Put phone down. And I didn't hear anything for years. I mean, occasionally I get a letter saying you owe, 500, then 700,
Well, to refresh people, when you actually first started negotiating the Seven Trent, now, I mean, they sent you a bill for lots of water that they said you owed them for, and you weren't happy with the water. So I think you put this into your letter, didn't you?
I weren't happy with the stuff they were adding in the water, the treatment
Right.
process, yeah.
So you were willing to pay for the water, because I noticed you didn't say no, you would actually pay them amount of
Yeah,
money.
conditionally accepted to pay, yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't want all the other crap in the water,
No,
and they won't take it out.
and my point was that it's not like it's a free market situation where I can go and use another company. I've got to pay them.
Well, there's, as you mentioned, we've got bottled water, and we've got
Yeah.
to distill water. I mean, I've got a still as well. I like working with a version called pure water. Notice how much rubbish we find in the distilled.
Stinks.
Oh my god, vile.
Right, but that stuff's actually in our
It's
water.
brown.
So every glass you drink, and you're drinking that.
Oh yeah, I've been drinking it all my life.
Right, but they're going to charge you. They want to charge you
Yeah.
for the water. Right, you sent them a letter saying, yep, we're now into the game. I'd love to play. And they just turned around and said, well, we've got to play it our way. Is that how it's gone?
Yes. We decide, you don't decide.
Right.
In so many words.
But have you actually come across a person with a name? You mentioned the chap actually rang you.
Yeah, I forget his name, Neil or something like that.
But Neil has made the decision, or did the company make the decision? What do you reckon?
I've got no idea. But this time, what seems to have happened is there's been a big investigation because I got a letter back saying their team of I can't remember now, I should have wrote the letter down.
Something like scientists, water testers.
No, it was the financial team.
Oh, so they haven't actually dealt with the fact that the water isn't good enough.
Well,
for you,
that's what
so they
somebody
still
came
want that.
round. Ever such a nice bloke, you were brilliant. And I was telling them all about fluoride and how it's been rejected in a lot of places in Europe and Ireland.
I think it comes number 3 on how to have a healthy child.
It's actually the main ingredient in rat poison.
Yeah, I've told him all that. It's a byproduct of aluminium manufacturing and...
That's not very good for you, is it?
No. What else?
But have they actually tested the water?
Yeah, he came round and tested it.
And did they give you the analysis?
No, they called me today and told me it will be coming in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But we know what it's going to say.
Whatever they want it to say.
Yeah. That it's fine, it's within the allowable levels and all that.
They're
But then
allowed.
my question is going to be, but who's allowable levels? Because somebody might drink a pint of water, somebody might drink 10 pints of water.
Yeah, because there's only a little bit of fluoride in there.
Yeah, well,
So-
there's a lot of places, I think it's 98% of Europe's not fluoridated.
Well,
There's a few that are, and Sutton in Ashfield is where we are now.
Doesn't the government advise us to drink at least 2 litres of time?
Is that what they say?
Yeah, for good health, basically.
Okay.
You know, hell is a place I'm certain.
Of course, the other place that is heavily fluoridated as well is Burton, and Burton just happens to be the major brewery of the UK.
You mean
You're joking.
they get the water to put in the beer?
Yes.
And they make sure that's fluoridated?
Yes.
And I also get my beer in
They
aluminium
make
cans.
sure it's fluoridated.
You get quite a sulphur nose when you smell burnt nail, don't you?
Well, anyway, sorry, we've got to get back now to this water stuff, because obviously you've initiated the conversation. And what we're finding with a lot of people now is if they can't handle or don't like the situation and conversation, they start to get aggressive. Usually means you're on the right track. So,
But
have you thought
they will also say that it's you that's getting aggressive.
yeah, they will.
Have you noticed there's only one water authority? They call themselves the authority.
Yeah.
As Dan was saying, you know, who else can you go to if they've got the monopoly on it?
Same as there's only one Monopolies Commission.
So that's just a bit of an oxymoron in itself, isn't it? There's only one Monopolies Commission. Maybe that needs an alternative as well. No, I'm finding with companies, so you know, I don't know if people know, but I actually apparently have fun with Nottingham City Council. They're okay if they can use the law to get to you, but they don't want to use the laws that will protect you. And if you know them. So what do you fancy doing next? So we're going to wait and see what results they come
I'm going to
up
wait and see. I mean, if it comes to the point, I mean, I'd like to use the A4V technique. I mean, I could take it
How
further.
much you know
I would
about
love to go to court, but I can't see a judge going in my favour, to be honest.
Well, the accepted for value, what do you mean by that?
I watched Salon's video.
Oh, and what did he said this isn't advice. He said this isn't advice.
Yeah, it's not legal advice.
No. But accepted for value, that means what, I give you something
You
that's
put-
worth the money and you say that's okay, like somebody's paid you in cake and eggs.
Yeah.
That's accepted for value,
I
isn't it?
imagine, yeah.
So your accepted value is slightly different. What do you do?
I mean,
with accepted value?
from what I assume, you get the bill,
Yeah.
you put your red line through it, you write on it in red ink, I accept this for value. You said something about
Well, I think this is going to be linked to your person, you know.
Well,
This
just
is actually
something
taking
within
control.
law that allows you to do this.
Remember that at the bottom of that bill,
Sorry about that.
there is a credit slip. It's not a debit slip,
That's it, yeah.
it's a credit slip. Because the country's bankrupt and has been since, well, we know it was from 1939, I believe it was bankrupt before that as well. So because we're in bankruptcy, all debts must be forgiven. So what they do is they send you this bill with a gyro credit slip at the bottom because that's your method of payment. Because we're all, the whole country bankrupt. If they create a liability,
At the same time.
they also have to give you the remedy, and the remedy is the credit slip. But what happened was they started sending these out, and others started sending them back with a cheque, and they're going, hey, we've given them the method to pay, but let's start paying us again. We're on to a winner here.
But this is actually linked to the straw man, is it not?
Yes.
It's accepted for value. So rather than ignoring it altogether, is use it. And there's a belief that we're actually equal in finance, structure, law, life, liberties. And it's only if we're going to do some harm to somebody else that anybody else, you should be able to interfere. The rest of it is just commerce.
Yeah.
So it's just assuming then that if you get a gyro with your person's name on it, there's an account because it's a company. But you don't have access to it. But if you put the signature on that, somebody can access that amount. That gyro can then be accessed
Well, you notice
from this account that doesn't exist.
Trust fund, yeah.
This is the problem, they don't believe the account exists.
you notice how often companies ask for your signature. It doesn't matter what. Oh yeah, just sign here. Just sign here.
But
Because it's valuable.
But accepting for value is actually knowing that and using it, and they still don't want to take it because they're so used to double dipping.
Well, that's part of it, but it's also part of the control structure. They have control by making you believe that you have to pay for something with their private monopoly money.
The game money.
Yes. And of course you don't, because just look into history, you'll find it absolutely provable that we entered bankruptcy in 1939. Now, here's an interesting thing. Bankruptcy lasts for 70 years. So in 2009, we would have come out of bankruptcy. But wait, what happened in 2008? Oh, crash bang,
Wow.
bankrupt again.
No way. That's it, isn't it? That's why.
Well, individually, you're able to play in the game of Monopoly. But if you become bankrupt, then in theory you can no longer trade. Somebody else gets all your stuff. That's all it's about. So we go bankrupt and we can't play more. That's the game. But they turn it into reality. So if you go bankrupt, you die and starve. You have no more rights left.
That's not very good, is it?
No. That's awful. You had to put it back in the box and start again.
Well, as John Wittrick says, you've got to understand that it is a game, and it is very, very much like Monopoly.
It is, yeah.
When the game is over,
with me,
all the money, all the pieces go back in the box, and it's put away till you want to play again.
Right.
And it's about time we put it away.
Who's played Monopoly and actually won it? Ever? Have you ever won it?
It's only the bank ever wins.
Yeah, but have you actually played the game and won it?
Well, yes, but it's only a game.
Isn't it a lovely feeling at the end there? But do you actually think that you've won all this property so you can now take it with you to the next time you've played? Because that's the problem we've got, is people are believing that this game has worked because there are winners and losers. If we reset it, that's not fair because I was a winner and they were losers. So if we actually know how to play the game, we're not going to give the world any choice.
The game always ends. There's always people who lose.
No, I disagree with you there, Dan. Because if the game finishes, then it's all over. It's like saying that perfection occurred. But if perfection occurred, then everything, all it is, would be finished.
So it's just...
So basically, I don't think you can win the game. Right? You can be played with love and light, because basically these other people, as they call themselves, are our negative other selves within a club of elitism and power over us and corruption. But they see themselves as I am I. Not
they've realised
that we're all one.
But they've realised it's a game and they're the winners. So why would you want to share everything else? That sounds like...
Why would you want the game to finish?
Well, the thing
Then
is
it's all
though,
over, you see.
they know that we're all one. And unfortunately, we blame Prime Ministers and whatever, but they know we're all one, and everyone gets angry at them, and they rightly should because they've ordered the deaths, but they haven't actually pulled the trigger themselves. So their karma is fine, apart from the fact that they ordered it. And as we found from the Nuremberg trials, just following orders doesn't make you immune.
That's it.
Well, this is the illusion that's coming through to what it starts with companies. This is what Daniel's going through at the moment, is a man has turned around, but not as a man, he's turned around as part of the machine and said, no, we do not accept. So if we're working and realising that there's a game but we're also humans, what do you reckon we should do, that gentleman or that company? Remember, it hasn't come through for the final bit, but they just said, no, we're not accepting what you're saying.
Now, did you notice that...
Lord, humans and monsters.
Yes, did you notice that we used the word we? Even though it's from here, it's we.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
that's a collective group, and collectively, there's not a single person who will take responsibility.
No, of course not.
Because if there is, that's who you should be asking for. I found basically that's the main.
I need to assert my authority more, I think.
Well, not being aggressive.
Because it genuinely has affected my health.
Yeah. This is things people don't get, and they talk about things like post-traumatic stress disorder. Apparently doesn't exist. Don't mean only soldiers suffer from it. Post-traumatic stress disorder is where you've been mucked around so much you have to question your own beliefs. You know what's right, but no one else is saying that's right. So you're the one person that's got it right, or no, it must mean by mass you've got it wrong. So the best thing to do is truth always wins out on this, and the little people who are turning around saying they are those ones in control, they must have the truth. So that gentleman better put his name to it, and if he doesn't, who's telling you? There is nobody, that's the truth. There is nobody telling you this, it's like the voices in your head from your dream.
What else I find strange is that a lot of my friends who've done similar things have been taken to court for it when it's got to like £400. You know, and I haven't been.
You know why that is? because I mean, you've done something really clever because you're doing it your way. But they've tried to do it your way, but they
well, a lot of they just ignored it, so I'm not paying.
If you ignore anything, then you're accepting.
Yeah, you are. You tacitly agree.
But what about this? If it's our game,
Brilliant.
right, and we're all in it together,
We're all playing the
I don't
same
think the
game.
game's being played with love and light, is it?
If
It's
you
not
want to
being
play a
played
game,
nicely.
well, you've got to play it nicely. You want to, but you don't have to. People are taking, say, a football match so seriously. That becomes
Yeah.
serious when there's money involved.
So we don't want the game to finish.
No, because
but
we can actually
want,
enjoy it.
We want the game to benefit all of us.
The people who are playing with love and light tend to be who's losing.
It does get a bit tempting as we're actually learning this.
Well, I think I'm actually winning.
And this is it. Now we're winning is what do we do with it? Because we become them. Now we know about it. I know that I can take as much money off, should we call it, any firm that's come against me. Now owes me money, they're hiding. So in theory I've won. But if I do this, I can have masses of money. I don't need it. That's the whole truth about it. If you think you actually need one of the rewards,
Well,
you might have
That's
house
the
is big
problem
enough.
I had when I got into the secret and things like that. I said, what do I want? There's nothing I really
Yeah.
need.
Well, that's because you want to play a nice game with nice
I
people.
mean, it turns out I wanted a new carpet and things. That's just the only things I could think of to see if it
But
worked.
it's lovely watching people scream. And then of course there's other people who actually, should we say, understand some of this game and they want lots of things. And the energy comes from others. So if you want that big Porsche, that Bentley, or should we call it the new racehorse, they're expensive. I appreciate those people in the game spending their money because it puts it back into circulation. But when you
hair out
need
of your
it,
mouth. Sorry, excuse me.
Didn't say one for anything. Doing a brilliant job, I must admit.
that wasn't a hair. How to cut hair? That was a rabbit. Yeah, now you've actually seemed to hit upon the point that you cannot lose this game. It is noughts and crosses. The other side, or the non-human elements, tend to back away. And there's still people out there who are benefiting from it. You can actually take all that benefit, but say, you know, I use one pill sometimes, and I like that one because in theory, I have now got such a huge bill owed by the council. I can cause lots, but it's our money. So what am I going to do with it? So I can profit from the actual game now. I can take money off several organisations to serious amounts of money, and even you talk about your health. When you realise your health has been interfered with, you also have some come back there. If you start looking at the medical profession, and should we call it drugs, ask them if you've got any medicines. You know, you can't sue, they give you a pill because you've got heart problems, so they've helped you. The same tablet is going to do some terrible things to your body. You can't sue them for that because you've accepted it.
That's right.
But what you want to do, same with water, is accept the water without any of the nasties. If they can't do that, surely you should be free to make your own decisions.
Well, that's it, the water's mine anyway.
Well, interesting.
Ours.
Oh, yeah.
They mine the water, but it's ours.
Yeah.
Interesting. Last year, I got a letter from Severn Trent saying they were going to court to get a warrant of entry. And I was going to reply to it and say, you don't need to do that. Just come at such and such time, and if you've got a 10 minutes time, stand up. And then I thought, well, actually, screw them. Let them go and spend money on a warrant of entry, because they ain't going to get paid either way. So I just ignored it, and guess what? They never did
Nothing ever happens now.
Oh, better lighting there as well, thank you.
That is fantastic.
That's a pleasure. Now, what prices did you charge?
Yeah, there's 7 on there. But,
No call out fee, I promise you, it takes only a second to get here from wherever we are. So,
You time travellers.
I'm trying to think if I've got anything I can offer you as a tip, so I like to do everything in reverse here.
Tip this, Doctor.
Sorry?
Tip this.
Your Coke, sir.
I see no white substance on there.
Right, it looks like you're going to have to wait for paperwork to come in on the waterfront bit, but doing accepting the value, understanding what it is, they will or won't understand, doesn't matter, they will try to reject, but you are still being fair.
yeah.
So let's see if there is any of this money in any accounts anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to try that. Send them a bit for like administration costs.
Yeah, you must put your bill in for administration at the very beginning, and also now, I don't know, you've done it as Mr. Bostock when you're dealing with them, or have you done it as Daniel?
Dan, everything's Dan.
Right, because when they write to Mr, you must operate as Dan for the Mr, and it's their Mr. Example is, if a judge asks you, Mr. Bostock, Will you read your statement? Will you read your statement?
Who's you?
Well, this is it. So, I will read as Mr. Daniel Bostock for you, if that is acceptable. And what you're saying is, you're actually reading it for them, it's their liabilities, but you are still down. And as long as they understand that you're still down, then the game can't go any further. But they do. I mean, if you have somebody who harms somebody, comes against somebody, goes into court, you want to
I
find
suppose I
out.
could say, well, I will act as Daniel Bostock.
Yeah, but even when you're going into a criminal
Then
case,
you're
it
an
means
actor.
you're going in as an actor, and you mustn't lie.
The person is an actor.
Well,
Do you know what's
control
most
by
bizarre
acts.
about this, gentlemen? Is that it's all
Thank
our
you, sir.
money. We own it all. We create it all. It's our game.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. It's all our game.
Superb job, so it's fantastic.
So it's a case of taking everything back for ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
You remember that document I just shared it with Daniel? Did you see the violent eviction I was involved with?
Yeah.
Well, I got a letter through last week. First I heard about it was that the blue-shirted tall fool,
The Bella.
he was in court on the 13th of March for that thing that he thought he was going to get away with. And I've got to go down to the court next month to give evidence against his
Oh, so there's a claim
violence.
against him.
Well, he's been done for a violent assault, and also,
But what about the police who did nothing?
well, there's still an ongoing. He thinks he's just getting done for the assault, which is the case that I've got to give evidence against. But he will also. The police are actually still pursuing the theft of the camera, criminal damage, and theft of the memory card. So even though he's going to get done, he's going to get done again. So it's looking
But
good.
you have got to go to court as yourself, though.
Yeah, well, it's going to be
Doctor.
It's going to be interesting where they would like me to swear an oath. Because
that's
I hope we swear.
Swearing, eh?
Let me tell you something about what happens when you swear an oath, because it's based on, should we call it religious law, the books, the Bibles, but it tells you very clearly you don't do that. So if they ask you to swear on the Bible, ask another means. Is my word not valid? Am I not trustworthy? But what you're asking me to do is commit perjury to show what type of person I am before I even start this. If you swear by Almighty, you're making a promise.
And of course you'll be saying that you know the truth, the whole truth.
And nothing but.
How can anyone know the whole truth?
That's the thing, yeah.
You'd be lying to yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I've only just been
So you perjured yourself in front of the court.
Yeah, so when you swear on the Bible, check your Bible, you make no promises as such.
So what's going on here, Dan? It seems like God and religion are running the show. Isn't it?
Well, they're meant to be helping you guide towards something.
Look at the American money. Have you seen what it says on the coins? In God we trust. Really?
Trust again.
There's somebody,
Trust, yeah.
there's somebody taking the...
Can you not trust yourself? If you can't trust yourself, then you need somebody else. If you can trust
Who is
yourself,
God though? That's the assuming that they know.
You go to court and you swear on this. You give your Bible, don't they? And it's
Yeah.
like, you could ask, well, what have I just sworn on? It's the Bible. And it's like, well, is it the truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And you say, don't need anything from me, do you? So, but what is this? What is this I've just sworn on? Are you trying to control me? Because if God controls the money, God controls us. Do we want to be controlled? Or can we control our own lives with love and happiness?
this is a bit like your dad. There are certain levels when you're growing up and you know nothing, that you're actually happy with
I'm
something. Like your
know
son.
nothing. I'm a simple man, same as you.
Yeah, but his son keeps getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, he's had his, because he's given his innocence back when he incarnated on this planet. Daniel's son we're talking about. You can imagine this miniature human being know everything that Daniel Bostock, his dad, knows now. Right? It's a destroying miniature human being. So you have a veil of innocence, veil of forgetting, which you can live with.
As you mature,
But
and
you
you
want
find
to do as a small human being.
What is the veil there for?
Well, let's say if we were all having a poker game and the veil wasn't there, you could see everybody's hand, so you've already won. And then it wouldn't be fun, would it? You couldn't play the game.
There wouldn't be a game.
So you've got positive and negative. This electromagnetic biochemical game that we're in, that we're co-creating. So you have to have the negative and positive. Unfortunately, our negative other selves have taken control of us, using control methods, using propaganda, like these books and this so-called stuff, which is not good, is it?
Also, of course, if
I still love them, don't get me wrong.
if the veil wasn't there, you would know your previous incarnations and what you've done, whether you've been good, bad, or indifferent,
Can you imagine that?
and you would be then so experienced you couldn't have the free will experience of what we are currently going
You
through.
think we're insane.
Yeah.
Because you have to forget, there has to be a veil there for you to keep yourself. Because if you're alive forever, for infinity, you go mad.
Yeah.
Your personality is literally shattered into a zillion different bits.
I just
You
give
know
it a
what we are now.
Over and over again, that way you get to see the same story, but every time it's got a slight difference to it.
And the thing I find most interesting about when we sort of like we've woken up to what's really going on, the fact that we do reincarnate, is that we choose this life. We have actually chosen. This is really hard for others to understand.
I honestly believe that.
We chose this, what we're doing right now, either as a punishment or as for doing something good. We chose this particular incarnation.
Tom Campbell, the NASA physicist, is he a NASA physicist? He's experimented with this for many years, OBEs and inducing OBEs, and he goes to these places, and he says that before you come here, you design it how you want it. Yeah.
Of course, now knowing that, everyone out there is going to go and want to design it a little bit different for next time. As they should do.
Well, it's time to play
Can I have one of them?
It's time to
Yeah,
play
this one's
the game with a bit of good love and happiness, isn't it? Because like Dan was saying earlier, and thanks for Dan for meeting us today, because we really
Oh, it's
admire.
actually-
Although you were late, don't forget that.
We, but yeah,
Surprise!
we were talking earlier how we've all woken up. And when you wake up, you look in the mirror, you start to realise what's really going on. And then our other negative selves are manipulating us for profit and gain. And profit comes from what? Well, it's religious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that's a prophet, that's some kind of gain for something that's been taken from you.
Brilliant, thank you.
So our negative other selves, like the authorities, they always say, well, we're an investor in people. And people are...
We said that earlier.
And people are what? What did you say people
What are
are?
you saying your name?
We made a note from this because it's bizarre. People are one's employees or supporters. Right? Not the residents or citizens of a town or a city.
Not like a comment on your chat where the cops were saying, I think we down Nottingham
The
there.
instruction to leave now. Or
Directions.
Direction to leave.
And then you look up the word in the, I think it was Bovia's, I looked it up, and it basically said an order given to a slave. So, I mean, whether they know this or not, that is mattering already. They're using the word.
Liability order.
Yeah.
Liability order,
an
anyone
agent
check
or a
that?
slave, yeah.
Right. And not an order, right, it's something to obey.
But
Which a slave has to do.
let's always remember, if anyone gives you an order, then they need a bill.
So is that a request or an order?
Liability, what's that? What's that all about?
Oh, this comes up in the
Lie.
Council Tax Act.
Liability.
Yeah.
I
It's,
can lie, and I have the ability.
It's a deception of getting you to do something with your name. Because if you give the name, then you make contracts.
Will you accept the liability? Will you accept the
Yeah.
ability of the lie?
In council tax, it says the responsible person is the liable person, and the liable person is the person who provides the name. Council Tax Act 2006, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's just an act. So we are all actors in
It's got
character
law.
today.
Acts and laws, as we know. Yeah, acts and laws, as we know, guys. It's
Acts apply to actors.
yeah, it's not lawful. It's legal.
It's so obvious, isn't it? You know when you discover this. It's not just so obvious.
Really? We've been lied to all our lives.
Just staying calm with it though.
And then you go on about the medical profession and how they wouldn't make any profit if it continued.
Yeah. Who's got chairs?
Cheers. So like a chair back. Anyway, if anybody fancies a haircut by this wonderful gentleman, Mr. Daniel Bostock,
He won't have his car.
stand in front of the camera, Dan. That is Daniel Bostock. Just finished recording. He records for 29 minutes 50 seconds and stops.
Yeah, but that